Ohayo gozaimasu minasan, watashi wa Tere desu. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. So, kyou wa Temple Summer Japan hanashite imasu. Hi guys, it's Taste Dream World. If you don't know me, my channel is basically about a vlog about my life and all that stuff like that. So today, no, not today, I'm sorry. Well, last year I started planning on studying abroad. Yeah. So at first I was a little shaky about it, but then I was like, well, might as well, because first of all, I need to graduate on time, so I need to take a little bit of classes on the other side. And then the other information, I was kind of worried about the price and all that. So I decided early last year that I would try to attempt to ask my parents to study abroad, and they agreed. And the only reason why they agreed is because it is Japan, and I have lived in Japan before. Now, I have not lived in mainland Japan, but I did live in Okinawa, Japan, which is like this little small place like next to Japan. Never been to Tokyo. So I thought, since I already know the culture and I've lived there, you know, for a couple years due to being in the military, I thought, well, they would accept this one, but if it was anywhere else, they probably would have said no. So I attempted to it actually took a lot of work to convince my parents to study abroad. My daddy, it was kind of hard to try to convince him because a lot of things were going on at the time, and it was just, you know, it was just something that was an idea at first. So I decided, hey, you know, my dad is on the he's very protective, so why don't I create a PowerPoint to prove to him that I am serious about this and I am definitely wanting to go. So originally I was into two different programs. It was the IES program, other one is Temple, the school in Pennsylvania. They have it was those two, and I was thinking, well, I really want to do the Temple one because it is 10 weeks long, and I would love to do the longer one, right? And then the IES one was more of not really classes that I needed at first. It was more like language learning and stuff like that, which I don't mind either because I love Japanese language, and it's just, I would love to get my certificate in it, so I was very interested in that. But at the same time, I had a friend who also was going to apply, and she said that, you know, well, 10 weeks is better and we get to take classes that we need abroad. So I was like, yes. It was hard convincing my dad to do the Temple one because Temple is a little bit on the expensive side, especially if you are a non-Pennsylvania resident. The credits is a lot more and stuff like that. So IES was on the cheaper side, like 10 times cheaper. And so I was thinking, it was very hard for me because I was taking classes and there were certain classes that I needed. I needed like 2 more classes in order to, I would have to take like 5 classes a semester in order to take it, in order to graduate on time. However, if I went to IES, that would not count, so it would be kind of like hard to get credit for classes that I did not take, you know. So I decided to try to convince my dad to do the Temple University program, so that I was able to take the classes that I need and graduate on time. Yeah! And eventually it worked out. It took a lot of planning. It took a lot of information that I had to give to my dad and everything else. So if you are planning on studying abroad, this is the channel for you, especially if you're planning to study abroad in Temple, because my plans for this channel is to make a whole series of all 10 weeks of my Japan experience. Now I will also be teaching Japanese on the way as I experienced Japan and as you experience Japan, because I want you to experience it just as much as me, so that you get a feel of like what it's like to study abroad and what the classes are like, and what Japan is like in general. So if you want to do that, if you want to see that, subscribe to my channel. Please like and share. This is also a channel about my life and about things that go on in my life and how I imagine things and the craziness and me and I'm that. So if you like that too, subscribe. I just want to talk to you about my process in applying to Temple. So I am a University of Tampa student. It's a lot to do. I suggest if you're planning to study abroad, I suggest you plan it ahead of time. Like I had planned a year before, you know, so I was good and stuff like that. In that way I had more time to make some money and stuff like that, and research too. So for my school, I had to apply to my school's study abroad program. I have to apply to be able to study abroad and then choose the program through my University of Tampa website. Now, and then after that, I had to apply through the Temple website and tell them what school I was going to. So it was like, it's two different, like, bunch of lists that I had to like break down and do and stuff like that. So on the Temple website, I had to do a bunch of things, such as I had to get my passport done, and my passport was expired, so I had to get it redone. And it's on the expensive side, but if you are applying for study abroad, I suggest you make sure that your passport is not expired, and if it is and you need it, then I would do the expedited shipping, which makes it go a whole bunch faster. Now with the passport, you have to get your picture done. Make sure you do not have this. Make sure your hair is natural. Make sure your face is natural. No heavy makeup or anything, because they won't accept it. Now I'd suggest going to your local post office to see if that will work for you. My post office did not do it, so I had to go to the airport to get my passport done. So I suggest you kind of look into that if your passport is expired, or if you don't have a passport at all. If you don't have a passport at all, it's going to be a little more on the expensive side to get it done, and it might take longer to get it done, which is why you should see before you try to study abroad whether you have a passport or not, or whether it's expired. Now if you have a passport, good. All you have to do for my school was upload your passport information and your passport book number and stuff like that. So that was the one thing I really had to get done, and I was struggling to get done because it was expired and I only had a few weeks before that was due. Now so I uploaded that, and then there was a bunch of instruction videos that I had to watch, and then there was like a whole quiz thing where about, you know, doing stuff like the transient form, which is something that makes sure that the classes that you take abroad are transferable to your school. So you have to get that done and stuff like that. So applying to Temple after that, or during that, because you could do that at the same time in my school, you had to get a whole bunch of things done too, such as you had to, and some things pop up periodically, you know, what you have to do, but there's a lot of like there's a pre-decision, and then there's a post-decision. So I was on the pre-decision for both sites. I got accepted into by my school, so they said that you're good to go to apply to that program. So make sure your grades are up, make sure you do not have any disciplinary action things going on there, you know, because those will affect your ability to study abroad, especially because Temple, that's what they said too. Now there is, I think, 2 essays that you have to do. It might change over this, but for me it was 2 essays that I had to get done, and I made sure that a friend of mine who was really good at writing took a look at it and fixed it up a little bit So make sure you do that, you know, ask some questions, make sure your grades are up, you know, things like that before you submit the application. Or if you want to just try, you know, with the 2.0 and submit your application, you could do that too. You know, who knows, you could get in due to good word or something like that. So for non-Temple students, I didn't need a recommendation, but I did it anyway. Wait, hold on. Well, whether I needed one or not, I did it anyway. It's just a lot of process. I'm still going through the process right now, so I want to kind of, I guess, break it down for you guys so that if you are interested, if you're going to a school like me, like in Florida or in, I was accepted into Temple University, and then after I got accepted into their study abroad program, a lot of stuff showed up. I mean, it was like a list of things I had to do, and there's still things that I have to do for UT and stuff like that. So there's just a lot going on, and I just want to talk to you guys about prices. So before I get started, I just want to make sure that you know what's going on. So there's a bunch of scholarships around that are for study abroad summer. But if you are in need, like if you are a need-based student, then these scholarships are great for you. Now, the scholarships include okay, so all of those are need-based, and there are more out there, but I suggest doing your research and looking up more. These scholarships help a lot of need-based students. Now, I have no idea whether I am a scholarship recipient or not for anything. Most of the scholarships that I applied to are coming out in April, so I will know whether I get something from a scholarship or not. Now, I did not get the non-Temple student scholarship, and I think I know why. It's because it's need-based, and I am not as need-based as they think I am. But my friend who is going with me did win the scholarship and got some money to go abroad. Now, I suggest even if you aren't need-based, just try going for it, you know. A little money wouldn't hurt, you know. Like if they gave you $50, that's still $50 that you got that you didn't have, you know. So I think that applying to them is very important. Now I am going to be paying mostly out of pocket, and that is if I don't get any scholarships. I suggest if you are planning to study abroad, make sure you have at least some money before, you know, you start applying, because, you know, if you don't have any money and no scholarships give you any money, then you're kind of like on the iffy side, you know, and then you're going to be stressing out whether you can go or not and stuff like that. But I did raise some money for myself. If you do not have scholarships, or you don't have any money, or you're not working or something like that, then I suggest you make fundraisers such as GoFundMe, or one thing I used is the Facebook fundraiser thing, and I just sent it all to my friends, and then, you know, you find out who's going to support you and who's not. What to expect when I go abroad. If you follow my channel, please subscribe. I will be giving you what to expect when looking at my channel and my study abroad experience. So I'll be coming out with another video soon about whether I got the scholarships or not, and what I'm going to do after I get the scholarships, or if I don't get the scholarships or anything like that. Now, there's a lot of planning that goes into airport planning. Now, Japan is on a whole different kind of time zone than we are. They are a day ahead of us, I believe, and it's important that if you are going for a study abroad, or if you are already in this program, it's important that you look at the dates that need to be. So for the Temple program, I believe I'm supposed to be there on the 21st at 6 on campus by 6 or 3, but I don't remember. So I am going to schedule my flight time either a day or two before that, because Japan is on a different time scale, and the flight's going to be horrific because it is about 14 hours depending on what That's actually the fastest. Depending on what plane you choose, it could be like 30 hours with like a hella long layover or whatnot. But either way, it's just super long and just... So I'm going to take you guys with me so I don't go alone. You know, I will be with my friend, and when she creates her YouTube channel, I will put a link down here in the description to her YouTube channel, and you get to see her side of things and my side of things. So yeah, so subscribe. I will be also coming out with weekly, hopefully weekly, or every 2 weeks, I'll be coming out with Japanese phrases and Japanese vocabulary that I will be studying, that I want you to also study if you are interested in Japanese language, so that you would just, you know, be cool. So my whole thing with the Japanese language thing is I want to become fluent enough to be conversationally fluid. Now, formal Japanese, like book Japanese, is very different from conversational Japanese. It's a lot easier to do conversational Japanese than it is to do book Japanese. I mean, it depends on the person. For me, it's easier for conversational. I am more inclined to learn conversational because that is how Japanese people speak, you know, normally on a daily basis. Now there is formal Japanese that you have to start learning first, and I suggest a few things. I suggest you get one, the Genki book. That is what all classes teach their students. The Genki book is like the one thing that they always teach. I think there are 2 Genki books, and I have to buy the second one, but I'll be taking Intermediate Japanese 1 overseas when I go study abroad, so hopefully that will happen. Also, my plans for the future is actually to go with the MEX program into a graduate school, but I have to do a lot of research on that. Now, if you don't know what the MEX program is, it is Japanese American government based, that like they select people to study and get their graduate degree in Japan, and they will pay for your whole entire experience there. Now, I still have to do more research in it. I could be a little wrong on these things, but that is what I learned from other people's channels and stuff like that. So I would have to apply to a Japanese school and then take an entrance exam and get in the graduate program to be in the MEX. And I also have to do an interview with the MEX scholarship. So, and I'm a very nervous person, so I'll take you on my road to that. I graduate in 3 semesters, which is hell horrific and scary, but hopefully it all works out. Now, the thing with the MEX scholarship is that I am an animation student, so I am in the arts. So I know a lot of people are wondering, like, you know, well, what if I'm an artist and I want to study in Japan, you know, after I graduate on the MEX scholarship? Well, subscribe, because you will see me go down that road, and you'll see me either fail or pass, and then you can make your, you know, decision based off of whether I fail or pass. Now, my whole dream though is to live in Japan. So yeah, so I will get there one way or another, whether it be with the JET program or the Japan internship, or just living there and trying to get an English speaking job or a Japanese speaking job. You know, either way, I will try to go to Japan. I love Japan. It is such a beautiful place. I love the culture, the people, and their art, obviously. Art student. But yeah, so there's a lot of things that's going down, and I just want to share this all with you guys. So if you want to subscribe to my channel, please do so. You get to see my crazy life, how I, you know, function in the daily stressful situations and stuff like that. And you get to see my fails, my positivities, my optimisms, my dreams, all come true, hopefully. If it doesn't, I'm gonna make it. So you know, just subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of... Why am I talking so much? Anyway, subscribe to my channel if you want to see me go down this road and everything. So, you know, it's up to you guys, but please subscribe to my channel, please. Also, if you're interested in art, animation, whatever, subscribe to my art channel, which is down in the description below. And let's get this. Yeah.